Welcome to the Autistic Delicatessen.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The food is great.
The food makes community. The food makes community.
What you eat and what you drink is your story. And welcome to another edition of the Autistic Delicatessen. I'm your host, Larnell, along with
Onikage?
And Oni, we're going to have somebody that is very dear to us, somebody that's also involved in the making of what you hear on this great show of ours.
Yeah, you will know this person by music alone, and we've mentioned him quite a number of times and recently done a shout out in both the podcast and the video series. And we'll be also looking into their favorite foods or what foods they've tried, because they have traveled around the world, so it's quite exciting to talk to someone who's a very important asset to the Autistic Delicatessen team.
Definitely, though. And is it just intriguing to be able to hear how good our music is, or just to hear this person's other projects?
Yeah, it's so much fun to see what one composer can do when they're commissioned to do a project such as ours, and then you look at their personal works. As a composer myself, as a hobby, and I know other composers as well, personally, it's just so much fun seeing different types, different kinds, and it's even better when they talk about food behind the scenes as well, and it's great how they just mix the two together, even if it's just completely unrelated and random questions. We'll be getting into that random questions of a mixture of food and music questions soon.
Today's guest is Batsauce, an underground hip-hop producer. Batsauce has provided our music for the Autistic Delicatessen and has provided many hip-hop beats in his discography with albums such as Bat Out of Hell and Shelter Skelter. He has also worked with Dylan, Quasar, Hellsent, and even his wife, Lady Daisy. We will be discussing his upcoming music as well as his experiences with food during his travels. So, Batsauce, welcome to the Autistic Delicatessen. It's nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, it's good to have the Autistic Delicatessen team all together. It's very nice. Yeah, we're all in 3 different time zones. So yes, I'm in the morning, Oni's in the afternoon,
Yeah.
You're at night. So it all encompasses a very good deal right there.
You got it all covered.
So Bat, your upcoming release is called Wolf's Clothing.
Mhm.
And of course I like the design. It's from your wife, Daisy, of course, who does the designs, I think, for all of your projects, I think. So
Pretty much. That's right.
yes. With Wolf's Clothing, I was reading on the Bandcamp of Full Plate that you this was a long time type of project that you've been working on for some time, and you mentioned it to be dark jazz. And of course,
Mhm.
for people that don't know, this is a project dedicated to Peyton Locke, who is a very talented MC. Definitely check him out with the Smile Rays. He was on his therapy
That's
at
right.
that time, and he had solo projects still. So
That's right.
I'm just wondering, from how you started the project and all that stuff, when Peyton was alive, did you guys ever talk about jazz or have conversations about crate digging and all that type of stuff in passing or anything?
Oh, all the time. We pretty much, I won't say all we talked about, but yeah, we talked about jazz all the time. And we even talked about this jazz project. I've been working on it that long. And yeah, we always talk about digging. Anytime I go somewhere, I went digging across Europe looking for jazz and European jazz. And it drove him crazy, man. He was like, I want to be there. So yeah, we always would talk about trying to outdo each other. Which was impossible for me to outdo him. So yeah.
That's awesome. I've listened to a few of your tracks and some of your albums, and I just like the style that you go for. Of course, especially how you do our music as well. So it's just, as a composer myself, it's just so much fun just seeing other people as well, and other people making music as well, and it's just so much fun. And I respect the technical side behind the scenes. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
no worries. What food have you tried during your travels?
We are very adventurous eaters, and we try almost everything wherever we go. So we've been in Vietnam now for the last 14 months, and It just gives us further time to explore. We've been coming to Vietnam for 5 years now, and we're always looking for new things. So we've tried everything. I mean, it's a long count. Might be easier to say what haven't we tried. Here, there's a lot of regional dishes and specialties. You know, whether it's seafood or whether it's even noodle dishes. You know, there's a special noodle dish that's only pretty much from this region. It's the signature dish of this region, so we eat that all the time. It's called mi quang. I think it's better than pho if you've had Vietnamese pho. But really, you know, that's one of the things we do. We're always looking for the food and if there's music. That's kind of the watermark, you know, we judge a culture by. Like, where's dinner, you know, and is there music?
That's a
So
great
we've been,
combination.
yeah, I agree.
And really, back. It's interesting how, you're also a photographer and you basically have been to so many like interesting places around the world, because also like you and Daisy, your wife, you used to like live in Berlin, Germany. So how did you both decide to like go to like Da Nang, Vietnam? Was it just, you mentioned about like traveling there and all that stuff. So was it just like a random thing that, oh, we're just gonna be here for a bit?
5 years ago, we came through Southeast Asia. And so we did like Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam. Vietnam was our favorite place. And so the following 4 years, we've been coming back. We still might try to go to Thailand some, but most of the time we're in Vietnam. And a lot of that time we're in Da Nang. It's a beautiful city. There's 1 million people, big enough, but not too big. There's mountains, rivers, nice beaches. It's really a special place. So we've been really lucky to weather the storm that was COVID and is COVID. We've been really lucky to weather the storm here.
I noticed Vietnam is got quite a few dishes that are considered healthy. Like Vietnamese food is considered healthy, not just pho and that. So I always find it really appetizing to look at. I've not tried many, or don't know if it's any Vietnamese food. I'm terrible. I need to try some because it really look good. I do like Asian food from various Asian places, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, even like Indian food as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Asia's
So,
great.
definitely need to try more. Back to your music. What so far in your discography, what would you consider your favorite tracks from your own music?
Oh wow.
That was a tough one. I understand.
I like Duke Ellington. When he was asked a similar question, Duke Ellington said, "My favorite song is the one I'm going to make tomorrow."
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I really like this jazz project that I'm putting out. It's definitely hip hop oriented, but jazz oriented, and I love jazz. And so for me to kind of just concentrate on that, blending my two favorite things together, was really fun. But I'm really fond of, oh, it's hard to say. It depends on my mood. I mean, what are some of my favorite tracks? The one I'm gonna make tomorrow.
Yeah, that's an interesting response. That's a good response. The process of you making this dark jazz mixed with hip hop thing, like how was it? Like how did you come up with a sound from hearing these different like jazz greats?
That's a really good question. Partly what took a while was to find, the right sounds. Make something and maybe like it, but decide, it really doesn't fit within the parameters of this project. There were a few tracks that I had made early on that I thought, this might be the benchmark that I'll judge the other tracks by. And so, yeah, it just took a while. The most fun part, I guess, about making the project was that I just got to listen to tons of jazz. And so for me, it was an immersive project where I just listened to jazz, watched jazz documentaries, just total immersion. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
That's the best way. I mean, I quite like my jazz music. I wouldn't say any specific artists. I usually just find random playlists on either YouTube or Spotify, and it's just a great immersion, especially in the evening when you just want to chill out or just do some writing. So
Yeah.
the full immersion, especially when you're making tracks as well, just oh man, it's one of those things you just love to be in the zone. And even though I primarily make electronic music, I like to explore other genres here and there, so it's just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of fusion music, I like how everything fusion works well together, like fusion music, fusion food. What would you consider your favorite fusion food, if you can think of one?
I like nouveau Southern food. Southern American food. I think that's fun. I'm also, fascinated with Asian food. And so any kind of fusion you can do there, I think is interesting. Vietnamese food in some ways is a fusion because they borrowed some stuff from the French and certainly some other stuff from Malaysia and the neighboring countries. And so it's kind of interesting that I think a lot of these cultures kind of, when you look at it, there is a fusion that crosses over. It might not be a new fusion, but I think, again, anytime you're messing with Asian food, I'm interested.
Also, I just gotta say this, Bat. I know you and Lady Daisy used to work together, like on music. So, is there gonna be another project of that?
We have some new songs, so I can say that we have some new songs. We're definitely on the slow pace, but we have 4 new songs in the bag, and we'll see if it's a new project or we just release songs. We're kind of, tossing it up. But yeah, that's always the goal. So hopefully sooner than later.
It's always good to have a project, even if it's just on the sidelines at some point.
Absolutely.
It's just, as Hank Hill from King of the Hill says, I've said this before, find yourself a project.
That's right. Keep yourself busy.
Definitely. Overall, what's your favorite food or drink?
Well, any fruit juice is always a good drink for me. Of course, good cup of coffee, good tea. I've been getting more into tea.
Hey.
And my favorite food, wow. Again, that would depend on my mood, like food is it's like music and it sets the tone. And sometimes you want to hear something upbeat and sometimes you want to hear something chill. And, I like overall, I guess I would say I like a lot of spicy food. So I like, food with a little pizzazz, so again, I think a lot of Asian food is magnificent and I'm always down. But, I miss Southern food, mac and cheese and mashed potatoes and cornbread and, black-eyed peas and collard greens and, stuff like that too. I miss,
Can't go wrong with mac and
Still
cheese.
got that J-ville in you, huh?
Definitely, man. You start to miss things after a while. It's been a while. I haven't had those things in a year and a half or so.
So, Bat, where can people find your upcoming project, Wolf's Clothing? And what social media outlets can they connect with you at?
Well, if you Google Batsauce or put Batsauce in Instagram or Facebook or SoundCloud or Spotify, any of it, that you can find me. Amazon, iTunes, just type in Batsauce. You can also find the albums at fullplatefam.com. That's fullplatefam.com. So yeah, that's the label that I put everything out on right now. And they do really beautiful releases, really classy stuff. And the whole label's full of cool stuff. So I encourage you to go explore.
Yeah, we know because we also help promote your Stone Giant thing with you and Quasar. So
I
again,
appreciate that. I thank you for that too.
Because again, that's a very good project and all that stuff. Only real quick, have you heard the project? Do you have a favorite song off of that?
I'm not sure. I mean, when I was mixing and I was listening to the tracks, I like the sound of them all. I don't have a set favorite as of yet. I'll have to keep listening again and decide from there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you guys a copy of Wolf's Clothing because I'm not sure I did that. I was thinking about that just before the interview, but I will. I'll send you one. You can check that out.
So, Batsauce, we'd just like to thank you for coming on to the Autistic Delicatessen, and again, thank you for coming out with the projects. Thank you for helping us with the music. It's nice to have good quality music for our show, along with all these designs.
That's right.
It helps. So, we really appreciate that, and thank you for really truly coming through for us, and what you do here.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to help. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Autistic Delicatessen. If you want to check out more of our content, please go on to the autisticdelicatessen.carrd.co. It's CARRD.co, right there below for you to see.
If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to subscribe for future content. Until next time.
What you eat and what you drink is your story.